Katie, and we wanted to show you a cool feature of how you can invite your friends to watch online with you while you're watching the live stream. You can click on this plus button where it will pull up a list of your friends where you can invite them to join you in watching the live stream. You can do the same on your mobile device. So if you go to this share button here, you will be given a list of your friends where you can send them an invite to watch along with you while you're watching the live stream. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we hope you stay connected with us, and make sure to like our Facebook page so that you can get all of the updates on what's happening here at Family Church. Hi guys, I'm Katie, and we at Family Church wanted to show you guys how to give on our live stream website. At live.ourfamily.church, you will see the option to give online on the right-hand side of your screen. You will be taken to a safe environment where you can see that your connection is secure. There are two options when you go to give. You can give one time or set up a reoccurring gift. So that's it, but we really want to know how we can support you and your family during this time. So please let us know, and we'll continue to be praying for you guys.
Hey, church, and thank you for joining us tonight on a special evening. I feel kind of privileged. I'm sitting in Troy's seat on talk show night, and it's big shoes to fill, but it's great to be here. In fact, why don't you go ahead and invite those your friends to watch us. Hit the share button on whatever feed you're watching, and invite others to join us tonight as I introduce you to a special family. Also, a couple announcements announcement before we get into that. Want to remind you, Experiencing God is coming up. We're so excited about it. So many of you have already signed up. You're a part of this. Remember that this week you need to get your books. You can get your books this coming weekend, because next week you'll start your first week of going through the book, and then the following week our classes are going to start. If you're not in a small group yet, go to our webpage at ourfamily.church. Scroll down, you'll see a box that says Experiencing God. Click on that and you'll find a group. Join a group. Let me also say this, man, we have people from all over the world who are going to be a part of our Experiencing God group. And some of you, just want to let you know that many of you aren't here, so you can't come by the church and pick up a book. You can buy the book from CBD distributors. You can get it from Amazon. You can get it just any place that you can buy books. And you need to go ahead and order that so you can get it and start next week. Also, exciting news. People are coming back. This last weekend, we had several of our services pretty full. And with social distancing, we know we're going to have to start more services so that more people can come back. So on September the 20th, we're starting a service at West Orange Baptist Church. It's going to be Family Church in Oakland, and it'll be at 9 o'clock every Sunday morning through the rest of the year. Nick Gels is our family pastor, and if you'd like to be a part of that team that's going to start that service, we need a launch team. We need people to serve in guest experience, people to help with setup and with hospitality. We need people that are going to be on the tech team, or just people to fill space. Let us know by emailing Nick at nickgels@ourfamily.church. And if you can't reach out to Nick, just call the church. Let us know if you want more information about being a part of that launch team. I also want to give you one date to put in on your calendar, and that is Saturday, September 26th. As a church, we're going to be part of a national movement called The Return. It's a national day of repentance and prayer, and we're going to simulcast it here at the Windermere campus. You'll hear more about it. Just wanted to get that to you on your radar. And then also each week, thank you so much for your faithfulness in giving. And you can give at ourfamily.church and be a part of that, of what we're doing by supporting it financially. So tonight I want to introduce you to a family. Look, last November, Marcio came in my office and said he felt like God was calling him back to the church where he was student pastor for so many years to go back as the lead pastor. You know, we affirmed that. We commissioned them. We love Marcio, still have a great relationship with him. He's doing a great work over there. Well, we started a nationwide search at that point to bring in the next teaching pastor. We actually worked with an organization that collected hundreds of resumes, and we got those down to about a dozen, and then got those down to the top 5. We thought we would have somebody on staff about May or June at the latest. But then in March, COVID hit. And so we didn't stop the process, but it did give us time to slow down and really get to know the candidates really well, to discover, their references and talk to other people. We even had younger families in our church watch sermons from all of the candidates and get input. And after months of just really seeking God on this, our elders, our personnel team, staff, the executive team, man, it's all just a consensus, and we just felt like God was leading us to this family. So tonight, I have the privilege of introducing to you our next teaching pastor, and I'm just going to call them Team Garcia, and this is Angel Garcia, and I'm going to let Angel introduce his family.
All right, well, we are Team Garcia. We are the crew, and my name is Angel Garcia III, and as Chuck said, I am the new teaching pastor, and this is, he's so excited to tell you, who are you? Say your name.
Angel Garcia IV.
He is Angel Garcia IV, which is super exciting. And here we have Angel Garcia V. Now, No, I'm joking. I lost that battle. I actually tried. I really tried. I slid in. Hey, babe, what if, it'd be so cool because I could be 3, he's 4, and then 5. But this is Xander Wilson Garcia. Say hi, Xander. Hi.
We're having a baby.
Okay, you were supposed to say that after mommy, but he's not lying. This is my wife, and we are having a baby come February.
Yes.
But I can't tell you her name. I'm gonna let her introduce herself because she's got a lot of great things to say.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes. My name is Kate Garcia, and my husband is Angel, and we are Team Garcia, and we are so excited to be here.
now you don't know my wife unless you are from South Florida and you're watching because you're friends of ours. But she's the most amazing human I've ever met, like across the board. Like even in the process of being interviewed here, I've met Chuck, and he's awesome. But my wife is the best human I've ever met in my life, and she's a black belt in Taekwondo. Side note.
Yeah, I heard that, Angel, you keep them in line, right?
How
So,
many shades of red am I right now?
tell us a little bit about where you live now. I mean, this is a brand new interview. People don't even know much
Yes.
about you.
We don't live in Orlando now. We currently live down in South Florida at Pembroke Pines, Florida, which is just outside. Okay, baby boy. We're going to go ahead and hold this for a second because you're getting so comfortable. All right, so we actually just outside Miami. And so I'm actually born and raised in Miami. And my wife, you want to tell them where you're born and raised at?
I'm born and raised in the suburbs of Chicago, so.
So am I.
Yes.
Right? We're both Yankees.
Yes,
That's
we
right.
have that little thing in common.
Yeah. And you serve presently
At City Rev Church, the great City Rev Church.
it really is a great church.
Mm-hmm.
My son knows all about that church
Yeah.
and has told me great things. So, Kate, we're going to let you and the boys go in just a minute. But before we do,
Yes.
tell us something about Angel that he would not tell us about himself.
Well, I'm going to show some restraint because even though he just embarrassed me, I will not embarrass him. But one thing about my husband is you will know that he's comfortable when he starts mixing the Spanish with the English and the hands get going when he's telling a story. You'll know Angel Garcia is now comfortable.
So that Spanglish gets going,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Now, Angel, your parents Cuban, is that
Yeah,
correct?
So I'm born and raised in a family of immigrants.
Okay.
And the area that we were raised in is the area called Hialeah, that is predominantly, I guess, run by immigrants. So if anything, sometimes I feel like I was actually born in a different country because Hialeah is its own
Yeah.
entity.
It
But-
is.
How long have y'all been married?
So we just made 7 years.
That's right.
7 years.
7 years is our.
All right.
What do we call it? Oh, because we're July 7th, so it was.
Oh, it was our golden anniversary because we
Golden.
got married on July 7th, 7 years ago.
There you go. That's awesome. Well, hey, guys, thank y'all.
Yes.
And church, we're so happy to meet them. And I've known Kate for a while, got to know the boys this week, and just a great family. And so they're going to leave, and I'm going to drill Angel for the next few minutes. And hey, guys, thank y'all.
All right, man. So Angel's been sitting on me for a while. So my abuela, which is my Cuban grandma, I know she's going to be like, why didn't you iron your shirt? I promise this shirt was ironed before he has been sitting on me. Look at that.
You're fine. Just sit back, all
And
right?
so I don't want to get grilled when I get called by my family.
So, Angel, we've gotten to know each other pretty well over the last several months, and I'll share, you have a unique salvation story. But share with them how you got saved and kind of the results of that with your family and extended family.
Yeah, so I was actually born and raised in, like we mentioned earlier, in a home of just Cuban immigrants, and but also knowing that my family was, from what we know, Christians, and so growing up in that kind of home dynamic created some more obstacles than any family would have ever wanted, and so I actually. I heard the gospel for the first time when I was 16. I was invited to a church. I went to a church service because a friend of mine, his mom dragged us there because we slept over their house on a Saturday night, and I went to that church service. And as a dumb 16-year-old boy, I went with the mentality of like, man, I wonder if there's any girls at church, right? And like an idiot. And I ran into a girl who went ahead and invited me to the youth group. And that Wednesday, I went to the youth group, and she was not there, which I think was by God's grace. And it was actually really funny, Chuck, because my mom wasn't a Christian, and when she dropped me off, her exact words in dropping me off was, "I bet they're going to make you a pastor or something." And I was like, "Mom, come on. I'm here for a girl. Get over it. Just don't embarrass me, Mom." And so I went in that service, and I heard the gospel for the first time. And it wasn't that night that it was triggered in me. It was actually a few weeks later when I was at my home. And and I started following Jesus at that point. But what was interesting about my story is that I started following Christ and just kind of did like a big flip 180 outside of my house. And so like in school and just with my friends, I was all about Jesus so quickly. But in my home life with my mother, our relationship was so broken. And so she struggled so much to see Jesus in me. Even though all of my teachers, all of my friends were like, bro, like so encouraged by what God was doing. God was using me as a young kid in so many ways everywhere else in my house. And it wasn't until I went off to college that about maybe a little bit over, about like 7 months while I was away, my mom calls me one night. And I don't know if you want me to share all this, but yeah, so she calls me one night and she's just crying on the phone. I'm just like, "Hey, Mom, what's going on?" And she's just like, "Angel," she said, "Jose Osteen is right. Jesus is the only way." And I'm like, "Who's Jose Osteen? Like, what's going on?" And I come to find out she meant Joel Osteen. And so she had given her life to Christ listening to a sermon from Joel Osteen.
Which is really funny because you were at Moody Bible College.
Yes.
Moody Bible College, Joel Osteen.
Yes. It's actually really funny. I'm sorry if there's any of you Joel Osteen fans out there, but previous to that conversation with my mom, I had actually been given an assignment by a professor to critique one of Joel Osteen's sermons. And so a few weeks later, my mom gave her life to Christ. I don't even know what sermon she's probably listening to the sermon I critiqued. But yeah, so then that sparked something huge in my mother. And my mom just caught a blaze for the gospel. And it was just I'm sorry, man, when I talk about my mom, I get a little emotional. But yeah, it was just amazing what God did in her, because then God used her to then bring the gospel to my grandmother. And I've been able to watch my grandmother just run with Jesus, and my grandfather. And it's so encouraging, but also discouraging, because I know that what was hindering my mom from knowing the gospel was that she had a son who preached the gospel outside the house but didn't live it in front of her. And it wasn't until I left the house that she was able to receive it. And so that's always something I've kind of been able to really learn the significance of being who you are outside, but being that at home as well.
Yeah.
And so, but that's how it all started. I wish I would be like, "Hey, I'm the catalyst to the gospel in my family," but in all reality, it was my mom who hated me for a while because of my faith in Jesus.
Yeah.
That she's the one who brought forth Christ into our community, into our family.
Yeah, but without your conversion, the other probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And so God used that. Tell us a little bit about your call to ministry.
Yeah, so that was actually one of the...
I mean, after all, your mom prophesied it, right?
Oh my gosh, but it was actually one of the touchy subjects with my mom when I was in high school, because I was feeling that call, and there were some things that happened that really confirmed that call that we don't have time for because we have 15 minutes. But I was feeling this call to ministry, and my mom was just like, "Oh my gosh, my son's like brainwashed. Like, oh my gosh, my son's he's going to now go into a ministry school in Chicago." And so that was really touchy for her. And a little bit about my background is that because of a lot of the struggles in my household growing up, it kind of hindered some of my educational development. And a lot of my development with my speech and even with my sight and reading skills and all this stuff. And so when I approached my mom about wanting to attend Moody Bible Institute, Moody is a very prestigious school, and it's just an incredible atmosphere and training ground. But so she was very just like, "Don't give yourself over to that," and because she was well aware of my struggles. But Moody, the year I went ahead and applied, they had created a program specifically for people who were young, that had a huge passion for ministry, but really struggled education-wise. And by God's grace, he brought me to Moody, brought me into the school, and I was part of a program called the GAP program, where for about 2 years, I was in a co-op with a bunch of other young adults that struggled, but were deeply committed to Christ and to the mission. And so we were given extremely tailored attention. So I had one professor who was assigned to me throughout my whole time, and Moody, in a lot of ways, they treated me like I was their kid, and they parented me throughout those 2 years in that program. And so I know right now there's some of you guys from the GAP program watching, some of my boys from Moody, and so I've been a part of a real tight-knit community of guys and some amazing women as well. And so my venture into ministry, I think, is a result of other people's call to ministry and them using that call to ministry to impact my life. And so I don't even think I'm a product of my own effort. I'm more of a product of receiving the gifts that God's given to people, put on my life. So
That's awesome. And by the way, for those who may not know, Cooper on our staff, Charles Cooper, was a homiletics preaching professor at Moody for many years before he came down here. And so y'all are alums. Actually, he didn't graduate there. He taught there. So y'all have already connected on that.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your ministry background, some things that you've done in the ministry.
Yeah, so when I came, all throughout my time at Moody, I was really involved in different kinds of student ministries and being involved in starting different ministries. That's one of the things that was really great about Moody, is that they don't let you just go to the classroom. They make you go to the field and practice and really, not necessarily practice, but be on mission. And so, like, because you're ministering to people. But coming out of Moody, I was given the opportunity to take a role that was very unconventional, bizarre, scary, and I feel like it was from God, because basically I was offered the opportunity to work at a children's home called His House Children's Home. If any of you from His House are watching, I love you guys. And basically my job was kind of like, in some way, an experiment where they were trying to see if they can get teenage boys from juvenile detention centers with at least 2 charges on their record, put them in a normal home setting, living with somebody. Could that help them come out of their struggles? And so I lived there for a little bit over a year and a half with my German Shepherd, Goya, and we would have up to 11 boys who lived with us at a time. And so that experience was wild, because we had boys with all different kinds of charges on their records. But I did that for a little bit over a year and a half and loved it so much. And I loved those boys. They became sons to me. And even though we were so close in age, because I was 24, I was a baby. And so, but after that, I went ahead and accepted a position down in this part of Florida called Homestead, down all the way right before you get to the Keys. And I took a position at this church that at that time it was a campus of this larger church called Christ Fellowship. And I oversaw the student ministry, the missions, the groups ministry, and then our campus became its own church because it just grew to this point where they sent us off. And that became, which is called right now Restoration Church. And so there, as an elder of the church, as one of the elders, I got to work with an incredible lead pastor who just taught me what it means to be a shepherd and what it means to guide and disciple people. And there I was able to be the kids ministry director, a student pastor, a missions director, oversaw groups for a little bit, preached every 3 weeks, and was kind of just juggling everything while coaching CrossFit. And I know saying the word CrossFit just offended some people. I'm sorry. But yeah, I coached CrossFit for a little bit. So then after doing that for a little bit over 6 years, I'm like walking through my resume. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. That's what we want. You're doing great.
Yeah, I know there's somebody watching like, why should this guy be hired? Let me tell you my resume. No, but did a bunch of camps down there in Homestead and I feel like down in Homestead, I learned what it means to legitimately shepherd, disciple, and walk through life with people. Like I just had no idea what ministry was until there. And then when we felt God calling us out of Homestead, or for any of you guys from Homestead watching, the Stead, when we felt the Lord call us out of there to City Rev, which we've been a part of that church for close to 3 years now, we were approaching a season where I was just realizing, man, I'm doing all these jobs. I'm doing kids ministry, student ministry, young adult ministry, groups, all this stuff, that I was really feeling that I was so busy doing so much ministry that I really didn't give myself the season to learn how to have the proper form in ministry, or to have the proper organization in ministry. And so we felt the Lord calling us to City Rev Church, the amazing City Rev Church. I can't talk enough good about it, where for almost 3 years now I was overseeing the student ministry, working with some of the most organized men I've ever met, working with some of the most gifted teachers I've ever met, and working with brothers in Christ, and really ministering, learning what it means to minister to public schools, having events where we served close to 500 waffles every Wednesday to local public schools, doing camps that took over all over South Florida. The Lord's allowed me to be a part of a great ministry, and now, leading to this season now, feeling the Lord saying, okay, you've learned how to have proper form.
Yeah.
Now it's time to put weight on your bar.
Yeah, and just to say that City Rev, you changed your name several years ago.
It used to be called, as a matter of fact, it's funny, City Rev changed their name the same week you guys changed your name.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, it was really hilarious. And so it used to be called West Pines Community Church.
Yeah, and even though it's West Pines Community, it's a Baptist church.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the lead pastor actually grew up in the church where my son's on staff. So he grew up in First Baptist West Palm.
Yeah,
and all of that.
Great dude, man.
Yeah, that's good. So, okay, you've kind of alluded to it. So let me ask you this. Why family church?
Yeah, so many reasons. We when this all came together, it was the First Baptist of Windermere, and I remember, just hearing about the position and hearing what it is, and I'm not a stage hog. Like for me, I'm not trying to do ministry to get famous. So for me, and I'm actually trying to make Jesus famous, and
right.
So that wasn't like the initial excitement. The fact that there's a teaching pastor role at a large city. If anything, at first I was really filled with anxiety at the thought of it, and I was also filled with a lot of sadness at the thought of leaving City Rev and leaving South Florida, just because I've been there my whole life. But the more I was able to learn about this church, the more I've been able to see that there's something special here. And because I'm a preacher, I'll break down 3 different things I like about this church, and I'll break it down in distinct order, because I'm a Baptist preacher. Look at that, and so we have to do it. All the words don't rhyme. That's where I'm a little off. But so basically, I think the first thing that was just really stood out to me is it's really that this church does whatever it takes to reach people. There's this commitment not to tradition. There's this commitment not to power. There's this commitment not to anything else other than saying we're here to reach and minister. And that's just so clear in the sense of the worship styles at different campuses, the level of mission mentality when it comes to, hey, we're going to have a campus here, and the campus is going to look like the community. Yeah. And we're not going to go to this campus. We're not going to put this church here and then this Hillsong. No, we're going to ask the community what works. And I love that hymns are sung here. I love that there's a gospel choir. I love that there's more contemporary music. I just love the fact that what is sacred is what's sacred to God, reaching people.
Amen.
And that's what he's about, and that's where it seems like this church is. We have a field. All right, football program. All right, we have a gym, basketball program. Like, we're going to do whatever it takes. We're going to start a Spanish congregation, a Portuguese congregation. Man, we're going to do a left-handed pool players ministry. We're going to do whatever it takes to reach people. And even in this season, seeing, a lot of the church here adjusting to, I think for a while, you guys functioned like a TBN broadcasting center for a little bit, where you're doing services every day, and just crazy desire to minister and reach people. It's beautiful, Chuck. And watching that from South Florida has been something super encouraging to me. And so I can go all day about that. But I think the second thing, too, really is the area. Not Disney, not Universal. I love the diversity of this area. And that was one thing that when we started praying about this, Kate and I was so scared I was going to be sent by the Lord to a place where I would be the only Cuban in the whole city that people would say, oh yeah, Angel, the Cuban. Like I didn't want to be the only iguana walking around. Like I wanted to be in a place where languages are spoken and accepted, where my kids, they understand the magnitude of really Revelation 7, all tribes coming together.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to be in a place where my diversity, my personal diversity was accepted, that when I say a Spanish word on the stage, or if I trip as I'm coming on the stage and say a Spanish word, I shouldn't say that. People understand it. And or when I say my abuela, not everybody's Googling it. What does that mean, abuela? But people understand Hispanic culture. I love that. And at the same token, I love that, this area, not only is it diverse, but it's populated. It's well populated. There's a lot of people here. It's not rural. And I love that my kids will be able to grow up in a place with so much activity, and it's just exciting. And I love the way that this church represents that, where that this church doesn't look like it can work in another city, because it's not in another city.
Yeah.
So I can go all day for that. And we got 3 minutes. We got. For those of you watching, there's like 4 countdowns all over us. So we are not going over on time. But so the third thing, my closing point before I share the gospel and an invitation. So my third thing that I really love was really the reputation of this church. One of the things that Chuck opened the opportunity for during the interview was for me to speak to Marcio and to have a conversation with Marcio that really, Marcio, if you're watching, man, that conversation sealed the deal, bro. Like when I got off the phone, I looked at my wife, we were driving, and I said, babe, this is it. And so we need to send you a fruit basket or some skinny jeans or something, bro. But so Marcio, that conversation with Marcio, I'm talking to the guy who just recently stepped out, and as I'm having this conversation with him, I'm expecting for him to tell me yeah, man, yeah, Chuck is gonna put gum under your desk and he's gonna do mean things, and I'm expecting to hear bitterness, but if anything, what I heard was just a downpour of just the reality of that this church cares for people, this church has character, and in talking to some of my mentors who actually know you, Chuck, and hearing that same kind of reputation of care and character, and hearing example after example of that, it excited me because, and even hearing why this church is called Family Church, that it was because of a survey, and everybody's like, oh, this is like family to me, and now we call it family. That's just beautiful, and it's, and again, I could talk about it all day, but to hear the reputation of a church from people who are no longer a part of it and people who are a part of it, it's just beautiful.
Well, man, we're excited. So I didn't give you a heads up on this. I've got really quick 4 rapid fire, 1 answer,
Let's do it.
1 word, 1 or 2.
1 minute, 15 seconds.
Favorite dessert?
Favorite dessert, key lime pie all day. Dip it in chocolate, it's amazing, my favorite.
By the way, Publix makes the best.
I
around
know,
here.
and
They
their
do, don't
mango
they?
one. That's part of the reason why we took this job, because it's so Publix here.
All right, your favorite music group?
Favorite music group, it's a little bit different. It's a favorite music guy. I'm a Jack Johnson guy. I also like the Black Keys. I also like Celia Cruz.
I asked for one. Okay.
I know. I talk
now,
all day, guys.
This next one is be careful on this one. Favorite sports team?
Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins and El Heat. Come on. We winning a championship.
Remember, you are now in Orlando Magic.
That doesn't change that. All
right. And then I got to finish with this one. Your favorite Bible verse?
Favorite Bible verse. Honestly, this is so cliche, but my favorite chapter, and this is actually a good segue, is, it's not a verse. Well, actually, yeah. John 17:21. That's my favorite verse and my favorite chapter, which, little advertisement for this week. I'm preaching on that this week. John chapter 17. Come on, we're talking about that this Sunday. So make sure you tune in to watch.
All right, that's a good cue. On our way out, let me just remind you that this weekend, if you're going to be in one of our services, we want you to go on and to sign up, make a reservation for the services. They're filling up. And so tomorrow at 2 o'clock, reservations open. Go to the website. You'll find your campus and sign up, make a reservation for this weekend. As Angel mentioned, he'll be preaching this weekend. So what if you go to East Winter Garden? What if you go to Four Corners campus? You can catch him at 8 o'clock in the morning on our stream. You can catch him at 9 o'clock. He'll be preaching online at 8, 9, and 11. And then for those at Lakeside and the Winter campus, he'll be preaching live in those services. Hey guys, exciting days at Family Church. We're excited about what God is doing and what the future holds for us. Love you guys. See you this weekend.